Yeah, what is going on, everyone? This is your host, Rob. Welcome back to another episode of From My Experience Podcast. I have Tori with me. Tori, what's really good?
What is poppin', everybody? Good evening.
And Tori has a special guest that she's going to introduce.
Oh, spot. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is a very, very good friend of mine. I thought that she would be a great addition. Her name is Ajah. Ajah, say hello.
Hi, everyone.
She don't really talk like that, y'all. I just want to let y'all know.
My name is Ajah. If y'all want to find out what I look like or something, just hit me up. Zach,
There she is already.
Bougie.
Look, when you invite a guest and they don't know how to act.
Right.
Zach, THACK _BOOJIE. Dag bougie.
Hey, mama.
What's good?
Yo, all right, listen. People be listening, yo. You about to get some new followers.
I got melanin.
All right. So, Tori put me on to a series on Netflix called She's Gotta Have It, which is a Spike Lee joint, which is about the life of a young lady. Well, she's in her late 20s.
Yeah,
late 20s.
About 26.
And basically, she's just out here living life.
Her best life.
Her best life. So, part of the controversy about the show, I mean, I guess you could call it controversy, or the interesting thing I'd rather say about the show is she has a very interesting dating life. So she was dating 3 guys and a girl, but mainly the 3 guys, and like the 3 of them combined was like the perfect guy for her. They all had their bright points and they all had their shortcomings. And then there's also a woman. Ooh, that woman was fine.
Yeah, she was.
Ooh.
I can't even lie. She was hella attractive. I ain't gonna play.
She had it together.
I had to hit that back button a couple times on some of them scenes. But anyway.
She was so copacetic too. Like, it's whatever you want, but I'm letting you know what I want.
She was on point with it. So, we're just going to talk about, like, that character and how that relates to our life and just, like, our opinion about the show. So, hopefully you've seen it. If not, see it. Guys, fellas, you definitely need to see it because it was funny. I actually saw myself in the role of one of those characters, but I'm a little... Dang, both of y'all nodding your head. I'm different
because I named the dude for each one. I ain't gonna flex. I tried to make myself realistic. I tried to put myself in the role.
You have to do that. When you're watching something, you have to look at it and be like, all right, which one is me? All right, who would that
Especially
be?
when you want to see a different stance from it too.
Mm-hmm. So I saw myself in one of those roles and I was like, huh. Now I couldn't put myself in a position to where my problem is like I'm a lover. You know what I'm saying? Oh.
Yeah, he is.
Which role?
I'm a lover.
The lover.
So, like, if I know, like...
Jamie.
You can't be like, well, we not going to be together, but you can smash and I'll hang out with you, but I do see other guys. I'm probably not going to deal with you. I can't do that. I'm selfish.
So you Jamie?
Yeah. Except for I don't have a complicated married life with a child at home.
And a white woman.
She wasn't white.
Yeah, she was.
She was mixed.
She was mixed. She was AKA. Yeah.
She was.
She was real light-skinned. Real light-skinned.
Yeah, she was one of those.
Yeah. Don't do that.
One of the she looked like the woman that faked to be the president of NAACP. You know what I'm talking about.
Rachel!
Yeah, Rachel. She looked like goddamn Rachel.
She was like Rachel.
It was close. Yeah. But yeah, I was definitely...
Which Spike Lee ain't low. You ain't low, Spike Lee. We know what you was trying to say.
Exactly.
So
we woke.
I saw myself in that role as him, man, and I was like, huh, that's interesting. I hope I don't end up in my midlife doing that, trying to holler at 20.
Why Jamie, though? That's a real question. No, I'm just curious.
Like, I mean, I'm very, like, he's how can I say it? I mean, he was just like straight up. He was the romantic one. I'm very romantic. about his business. I'm about my business. You know what I'm saying?
Tori, you think he was romantic? I don't think he was romantic. I think he was
Sensual.
he had a way. He was very charismatic for one. He had a way of making it work for him.
Yeah, but I mean, he got her all the gifts and stuff. That was me too.
That's just a plus, though. That, like, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, she wasn't lacking. She wasn't dying for that. That was just an incentive.
Yeah.
So again, my question is, what makes you like Jamie?
Those things, man. All that stuff. The
Because
charisma.
you didn't tell me what your gifts meant. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't necessarily bringing, like, you know, it wasn't. It was cute. It was like a hair bow. It
No,
wasn't the
well, I give
ponytail.
very personalized gifts. Like I give you number one. What? No, the answer is no. Tell them you're at work. If y'all don't know, Tori just got a request for something from somebody. You gotta tell them you're at work, my G.
Yeah, literally, you're on the
Um,
job.
But I mean, just that type of guy, like the type of guy he was, like that's the type of guy I am. Maybe not in.
What is he? What is he?
What you mean? Like,
You're
okay,
saying you relate to him. What? I'm guessing. My
okay, I
question
relate to him
you.
in that, like, basically, he's very structured. He had it very much together, other than his family life. He
So
was
he had a degree.
not necessarily. I mean, you don't need a degree to have it together, but there's a
Well, let's
lot of
back
people
up
with
a
degrees who
little
don't.
bit. Just for a second, for those who haven't seen She's Gotta Have It, long story short, it's about a woman who's having a relationship with 3 people at the same time and how the other people end up finding out about each other and how they feel about it. So
It's Build a Man 101.2.
Yeah,
yes, and it definitely it shows gender roles and how it kind of is reversed in a sense because
yeah,
now this is a woman, doing her own thing and being completely honest about it. And who can be mad at that?
And she slides in the whole, shout out to the LGBT community because she also expresses her sexuality with the same sex.
yeah. And I feel like, honestly, everybody
And
should
that's
be straight up
important,
as she
kinda,
was.
sorta. Yeah, that's really important. Feminism in general is another point that Spike Lee tried to hit on,
Yeah. But I feel like
I
people
agree.
should be straight up like she was anyway. Like, if you talking to multiple people, like, just let people know. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me know what I'm in for. Let me know. You know what I'm saying? So I won't slip up and raw dog one
And
night.
shoot. Up the
You are the only determining factor in your situation in life. Point blank, period.
And like she
Regardless
said,
of your Jamie, Mars, or
Yeah.
what's the other guy name? Jamie,
Greer.
Mars,
Greer, yeah.
Greer. So regardless of them, you are at control 100% of what you do with someone.
everything was on her terms.
Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I would
I love
never.
it.
I couldn't do that.
But that's crazy though. That brings up my point of double standards.
No, but I don't
Anything
feel
you can
like
do, I can do better. Anything you can do, I can do too.
I like anything you can do. I can do too. I'm not a you got to do everything my way type of person. I'm like, all
So
right.
you don't have several girls that has this little gratifying moment for you, but they each have something different, but they all are self-gratifying. That's what you're telling me.
Well,
As a black male, that doesn't exist.
I didn't say it doesn't exist. I'm talking about me. It definitely exists.
Okay.
Like I ain't hating on her. I like the fact that she was straight up and it was what it was. Like people was like, oh, I've heard some people say, oh, she was slutty, she was a hoe. I'm like, dudes do
She
it all the
wasn't.
time. So what's the problem? And I was like, she's smart about it. Like she had a set amount of people. She knew them very well. And she had like when you get further in the series, she had a schedule. She was like, we gonna do this, we not gonna do that, we gonna do this. Then there's times when she was like, you know what, I need some time. So she would cut them off and still didn't go get any other side pieces. They was all cut off. Like she had it together. Like she was doing it right.
Actually, let me clarify. She was not dealing with Opal when she was dealing with those 3 men.
Right, true.
When she cut off the 3 men, then she went and exclusively talked to Opal. But after that didn't work, she went back to her 3 in rotation.
Yep.
So again, my question to you is what makes you different? Like, I guess Like you're saying, you didn't agree with one stance of what she did, but you respected one thing that she did. But let's say that I am Nola and you
Oh,
are Jamie. Again, what's your conflict?
well,
What
my
is your
thing is
problem
this.
with me?
Well, where I'm at in my life, and is where he was too. He wanted her to himself, but he was willing to put up with what she was doing and her standards because he wanted her that bad. And he was in a different position in life too because he'd already been married, already had a son. You know what I'm saying? So he really shouldn't be dealing with it anyway unless you want
So
to get a
Nola was his
divorce.
sugar baby.
Yes.
But he
Because
wanted,
remember,
yeah,
he gave her money at a point in time too. She
yeah.
gave it back, but it
He
was a
bought a piece
sugar-based
of
situation.
artwork from her, but yeah. And then the wife found out, and he smashed his wife, and the wife got mad. He came in that shower, and she found out about him buying that piece of artwork, and it blew up. But that's just how I see myself. Like, I'm the guy that wants the girl. I want you to myself. Now, all these, like, and here's my thing. I'm cool with a chick wanting certain things on her terms, and, you know, I feel like you should court the lady, and definitely you want to cater to your woman, but I feel like there needs to be some compromise as well. Like, I found it crazy that the only time she would have sex with them was in her loving bed. So that's the
I
only,
love it.
I love it.
I
I love
love it.
that. I love that.
I don't know how I felt about that as a dude. I don't know.
Why?
I'm different.
Speak.
Well, if I know you dealing with other guys and you telling me this is the only place that we can have sex, I'm gonna only assume that you're doing it with them too. So like, do I really want to come behind? And I don't know when the last time you saw this dude. Do I really want to come behind him in this bed? Like, it doesn't. It takes away what can be special between the two of us because you're giving it to other people.
I think I have a loving bed,
Oh,
and I'm very particular about who enters my loving bed. And when you enter my loving bed, you know the grounds and stipulations of my loving bed. So what happens in my loving bed stays in my loving bed. It does not leave outside of these four walls. So I like that whole concept.
How
how do
did
you
you
fit?
get here?
How did you feel about the loving bed? Go ahead, give your point of view on the loving bed, Tori.
It's power.
It is
It's power.
Pussy is power.
sometimes.
No.
Okay, pause. Sidebar. Even, and I'm not sure for those who have seen Black Panther, those who haven't, even in the aspect of, going back to the origin stories of Adam and Eve, there is this argument of who was first, man or woman.
The egg or the
And
chicken.
exactly. And that just goes back to that whole point of feminism. And in general, it's kind of like, okay, you say this to say this, but so what? I'm a woman. I got power too.
And I have a hard time understanding that, considering man comes from woman.
Why are you
How did
giving me
man
this
come
weight?
first?
Put it like this, even going back before that, everybody has a vagina before they have a penis. That's scientific facts.
Oh my god, Alex.
But that's not what
here.
we're talking about.
It's
But
definitely
whatever.
not what we're talking about.
Okay, so going back on track, I want to make sure we cover all of the characters. We've covered Jamie. Let's go into Greer a little bit. Now, for those who, again, have not seen it, Greer was the sociopath of the three. He was very, very
Narcissist.
Yeah.
Yes, he was very, very self-centered. He was very, very me, very, very physically attractive. I mean, if that's what you like.
I get it, but I got the whole gay vibe from him. I ain't gonna flex, bro.
Yeah,
I second that.
he was very flamboyant. He was very
Very
flamboyant. One of his nails
But I
was
get the
painted too.
narcissistic.
Yes, his
What?
pinkies were painted silver.
Yeah, and
I didn't
so
notice that.
also y'all, he was artsy. He was a photographer.
Mm-hmm.
Like
So it's
really,
kinda
like
like-
super duper photographer, like 1,000% into the culture of art. So
So it's almost like
she's
him
an
and
artist,
Noah
by
had
the
this
way. I think
sensual
that's important.
thing.
I think
Yes,
that's important.
Nola is an artist. She painted, she did street signs, she did a whole bunch of different pieces to kind of engulf and show who she is as a person or as a spirit
Very
more so.
creative. She was very, very sexy on the inside too. Like she was sexy on the outside, but like her personality and stuff like that was very sexy to me. But it was clear that she still has a lot of soul searching to do.
Okay.
She's young.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
Exactly.
That shows, because throughout the whole show, it showed her youth, and she showed that she likes to have fun. She likes to do crazy, spontaneous things, but all under her control.
Well,
So
Tori, I have a question for you.
what's up?
My question to you would be, you saying we just said the word young. So that's kind of vague. So my next question to you would be the whole topic of what is, because one, we got to take in consideration that the original Spike Lee joint was in 1986. The series was in 2017. So that's relatively 30 years and difference. So my question to you would be, what exactly is a relationship type goal, or by her terms type of thing, would be in aspect of today in comparison from 30 years to now?
So much has changed in 30 years. So much has changed. Babies have been made, people have died, the whole, and throughout the whole season, it kind of was a coming of age, about Nola. She expressed in the very beginning, this is how she is. Nothing that nothing that anyone says can change the way she feels. And if you're not with it, then you can go. That's something that people did not have 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Exactly. That is true. That's 100. That's 100.
People are way more liberated mentally now than they were 30 years ago, even though we have, in the African American community, we have a lot of growing to do.
And that's the breaking point. Even with the mental illness part too, because if you think about it, in the 30 years ago, Nola only went to a psychiatrist once. Yes. However, in this series, she makes it a reoccurring thing. So it almost puts out this image that, therapy or I'm not even going to say mental illness.
Health.
Just, mental health. Yeah. Yes, that is a better word. Mental health is something that was once taboo 30 years ago, but it is really relevant today. And I feel like they made a good job of making it a continuous thing, or something that was consistent, something that's vital.
And I'm glad we're talking about it. I'm glad we're talking about it because actually, for those who are listening, last week we actually touched on mental health a little bit and how important it is. And throughout the whole season of She's Gotta Have It, the show that came out this or last year, something happened to her. And I'm not going to ruin it, but something happened to her where it emotionally shook her.
You can say it. Spoiler alert. First of all, they should have seen it by now. It's mad old. That series been out for a minute.
I understand.
It's only been out since November 2017.
I don't want anyone to ruin Black Panther for me. So, I'm going
Black
tomorrow.
Panther.
I am going tomorrow. I am going to Wakanda tomorrow. But anyway, so something had happened to Nola that emotionally shook her. It caught her off guard, and she had to heal from that. It hurt her emotionally, but also physically, not to go too much in depth. But,
can I say something?
But through all of the hurt that she dealt with in that accident, she made art out of it. And that was her way of healing. Ajah?
Yep. Not to spoil it, it just goes back to becoming socially aware would be a good thing to do as individuals today, because there are some things, even with you saying she expressed her pain and her hurt and her experiences through her art. Again, that goes back to becoming socially aware, because there were some things that were hit on in a lot of her art pieces that just basically said, what is really, what do I want versus what's reality and perception, social media perception, reality versus social media perception, slut shaming.
Yeah, true. Back to Greer though. Let's so we're gonna finish describing Greer, talking about Greer a little bit. Then we're gonna talk about Mars. Then we're gonna talk about how the three of them made. And Opal, and talk about how, well, really the three men, but the four of them kind of made the perfect person. So I think with Greer, it was funny. She changed him. She changed all those
She
men.
did.
She
She
changed.
did.
She changed them. And honestly, I guess at the end we'll say who we think she should end up dating. Like if she were to pick one, who we think would be right for her or the best for her right now.
I feel like each one of us is gonna say somebody different.
Okay.
Yeah, but and I think their connection was, well, let's go back to Jamie. I think Jamie's connection to her was the fact that what she liked about him was the fact that he was quote unquote stable. And he was serious. Like she knew he wasn't gonna play no game. She didn't have to worry about no other women, no fuddy duddy stuff. Like, I'm gonna take care of you. I'm gonna make love to you. This, that, and the third. Like,
and that's what they were doing.
That's
Jamie and Nola were making love.
Yeah.
Okay. Greer and Nola were fucking. So let's go into Mars.
Wait, but Greer, his connection with her was they were both artists. Granted, he was a photographer and she was a painter / whatever it's called when you pin stuff to the canvas. Sorry, don't know. But
I mean, I'll be the devil's advocate. Mars was kind of an artist in a way. They're all artists because Jamie was intrigued by Nola's art. Greer was an artist, and Mars just had a different way of
executing his art.
That and maybe seeing what he sees. Yeah,
Ajah, you gotta do it too. You gotta do it too.
I wish you guys could see us. We're gonna go on Facebook Live.
Watch what Mars does with his bottom set of teeth. That's what we were doing.
And his jaw.
And his lips.
That dude.
Mommy, please. Mommy, please.
Fun fact. Please. Sidebar, I almost got my ass beat in elementary school because I took a picture like this. And my mama said, if you ever in your life, stood down to me and looked me in my eyes and said, if you ever in your life take a picture like this, I'm going to beat your ass. And I hadn't did that shit till just now when y'all see me do that dumb shit.
So, Mars, okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so
oh shit!
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Never mind, go ahead.
Greer and Jamie were both African American, but the thing that stood out, well, let me back up. In the original She's Gotta Have It, the movie, all three of them were African American men. However, in the 2017 version of the She's Gotta Have It show, Mars was Hispanic.
Y'all want me to tell y'all the correlation of the characters? Because I know them. Jamie was a guy from the soap operas. Our grandparents is like I don't think it was it was either The Young and the Restless or All My Children. That was Jamie. Mars was Spike Lee. And the third guy, y'all remember on 5 Heartbeats?
Yeah.
Flash.
Yeah.
Goddamn Flash. That was him. And that describes them perfectly. Because even Spike Lee got that little quirky Mars type thing going on.
Mars was probably most of our favorite characters, just because he was fresh, he was fun, he was lively, and he and Nola had the most fun. Nola was able to escape and just be her inner child with Mars.
Agreed.
He was hilarious. He did represent fun. It's funny.
So now we got the three components. We said established, charismatic, and fun. That's what she was looking. So what was Opal? And we need a little special insight on this Opal character.
I need some
Opal was mature. She was very sophisticated.
Yeah.
Give us, but I guess when I say insight, I want to know more so because it does take a turn. It takes a turn in the plot right there. It's like, oh shit, she bisexual too. Like what was the real trigger point for that? You say mature, I get it, because guys can be kind of immature, not being biased, but just saying they can be. However,
I'm
I just
immature
want to know
now.
what was the.
Yeah.
I want to know what is that selling point for Opal? What was because you can honestly say in the plot that there was a significant amount of fireworks behind Opal's character.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, it's almost like yes, she had orgasms, yes, she did this, she did that, but it's like when she got to have sex with Opal, that was a magnitude. That was a
And
new world.
and it's almost last week we also talked about that kind of friend. We talked about kinds of friends.
You know what
And
Opal was? Go ahead. I got it.
Opal and Nola had a sexual connection there that even when they were serious, it was sexy to Nola. It sexually attracted her to Nola. So despite the fact that you really didn't see them have sex more than one time, you could tell that the sexual connection was always there, even when it was serious.
Okay, pause. So
Wait,
we're going to stray.
Go ahead,
We're
Rob.
straight
Oh,
from the
sorry.
we're
Ladies first. Go ahead.
Okay.
We're going to stray from the word established, because if you want to say that, that means Opal and Jamie were both established. So again, what's the deterring point?
I mean, honestly, Greer was established too. I mean, he had a good career. I mean, he
That
had
is
bread.
correct. You're right.
I say what
He was
Opal,
flourishing as an artist, which Nola wasn't.
Opal, yeah. Opal, I would say though, she represented the dominant one. Like
Yes.
she let her know, I'm not finna fucking bullshit with you, and you date all these dudes. Like if you're gonna be, and she had a child, and the child knew about her too. So she was like, look, we ain't gonna
Opal,
play
now
all
you
these
playing-
games. Like okay, we sleeping together, whatever. Not what you trying to do? No,
And
I'm
on
not playing
top
these
of
games.
that,
Mhm.
on top of that, when Nola screwed up, Opal was not having it. Opal told Nola to leave.
Yep.
And it hurt Nola's feelings because of the fact that Nola is still, and she is grown, but she still had those child instincts at a point in time. And Opal was mature. Opal was not playing and did not want her time being wasted. And that's what attracted Nola to Opal.
So again, what was
Shit, I
the
might be
deterring
Opal
factor
then.
between Opal and Jamie? Because again, if you want to think, okay, Jamie had a kid, Opal had a kid. Jamie was established. Opal was established. The only deterring point was the marriage.
Yeah, he was married.
The difference
but
between Opal and Jamie was passive aggressive and Opal was dominant. Opal was
Yeah.
straight to the point. When Nola said something to Jamie and Nola were in the same bed together on their birthday, and Mars called and Nola picked up the phone and turned her back to Jamie.
yeah,
And Jamie let it happen. Opal would not have had that.
and she probably wouldn't have answered it.
So maybe it's more so along the lines of Nola is Opal is what Nola aspires to be as a woman.
Okay. I can roll with that. And Jamie also, he would chase behind her. Like when something was wrong, he's blowing her phone up. Baby, what's wrong, baby?
Did do
God
that.
damn. I
Exactly.
hope I'm not like that.
And
Am
Jamie,
I like that?
so
I better
it's
not be like that.
crazy. It's crazy because it's almost like Jamie, though we've all said that Jamie and Nola were the most compatible.
I don't
So
think
it's
so.
almost like
I disagree as well.
Really?
Okay,
Oh,
so
wow.
we're at this point already. All right, so you think if she were to pick one, she should pick who?
Well, I can't say that, but I just said that seems as,
Okay.
from perception, that seemed to be most compatible with Jamie, but it was still that little, they kept bumping heads.
Jamie
And it was
wasn't
almost
fun.
like,
He wasn't fun enough. If he was more fun, I don't think those other guys would have stood a chance.
Okay, so there we go, because there's the difference right there, because then it's almost like, oh, well, she gets to be with a woman that's kind of spicy, you know what I'm saying? It kind of heatens up the mood.
That's sexy.
Exactly.
The thing about She's Gotta Have It, though, and I'm glad you asked that question, it's that we can't answer that question. Because Nola was so free and so liberated, you cannot refine her to one person. And that's what she was
exactly
the whole show. She worked well with everyone, and that's because she was so free. She was open-minded and did not restrict herself to one personality, one attribute at all.
Yes, that is correct.
But hypothetically speaking, if we had to pick one of the four for her to be with, who would you pick and why?
Okay, so we're gonna make it spicy. For me and Tori got to pick a dude. and you gotta pick who you are. You said Jamie, but
Oh yeah, who are
okay.
y'all? Yeah. I know. I kind of have an idea.
I think
Well, I don't know you, so I can't say I know who you are. Tori, I definitely have an idea.
Tori, you go first. You go first, Tori. I'm your
I,
guest. I'm your guest.
I'm not like Jamie
Definitely
at
not.
all. I'm not like Mars. I'm too serious like that. I feel like I'm too serious to be a Mars. You think I would be a Mars? Are you serious?
Mars, you're a Mars type of dude.
I'm
We're
not.
talking about she's
Who
gotta
do you
have
think
it.
you'd be? Okay, you
Uh,
think you'd be Opal?
I don't know. I think I would be a combination of Opal. I don't know. You know, don't ask.
That is a hard one.
This isn't. Yeah,
You know,
I'm very intricate. You all like. I'm very very hard to
I know
put.
what I want.
Yeah. I mean, no, I definitely know what I want in someone, but as far as, categorizing me into one of those characters, I would be on a spectrum. So let me think about it. Rob,
I'd be like, I mean, like I said, I'm Jamie, but I'm more fun than that. Like, I went on a date to Carowinds. Like, you can't just be a boring ass. You know, like that romantic stuff is cool, but like you got to spice shit up. You know what I'm saying? Um, and you got to have more of an open mind. Like, he was very rigid. You know what I'm saying? He felt like, and you can't always feel like you know better just because you're older or more established. You know what I'm saying? Like, you still got to allow that person their freedoms. But Ajah, who are you? This is
I
gonna.
gotta be spicy. I gotta be spicy. I think I'm gonna go for Greer. I'm gonna go for Greer, and that's crazy because it was such a guilty pleasure. I was like, "Fuck, fuck! Why do I like this man? Damn!"
oh wow, and he actually looks.
Bitch,
Wow,
don't you even go there.
wow.
And that's
Looks
why it
like
was
who?
eating me up.
What?
It was
Rob. You know exactly
well,
what.
okay. Let me say this, Rob. We're not gonna say what
You
he
know.
looks like. I don't even think it
Don't
was
drag me in
looks.
the middle of
It's not
anything.
even looks. It's not looks. It's not looks.
It's not looks.
It's the charisma. It's the passion,
I
and
don't know.
it's the spontaneity.
Okay, I have my answer now, and it's crazy. It just took me a second to kind of really think about it, opposed to just impulse talking. But I definitely would be a combination of Mars and Opal. I have points in times where I'm just serious and I'm going to be straight to the point with you, and that's that. But at the same time, I love having fun and having that escape. So definitely a combination of the both, considering me,
Considering you're what?
Not just sexuality, but my point of views as far as life and being able to just live in the moment, because you can't get time back. And that's something that Nola really did
Hey,
recognize.
say that one more again.
You cannot get your time back. You
Word.
need to live in the moment, and that really does, help you understand who you are. I personally feel as though no one knows
You said
who they
what?
are yet.
Wait.
So yeah.
All right. So if y'all had to pick one of the four for, I was about to say Ajah, Lord Jesus. If y'all had to pick one of the four for Nola, for Nola to date, who would? Who would it be and why? Y'all want me to go first?
Yes.
Yeah, I knew you was gonna take that cop out. Honestly, this is funny because this is actually probably my deepest desire. Pause before I give this answer because I don't want y'all to think I desire this dude because I don't.
I was just about to
exactly.
I was just saying,
When I
y'all.
give the rest of the, you should know better than that. When I give the rest of the answer, y'all understand. I think if she had to pick one of them, it should be Greer. And I say that because when you have a passion for someone, for something, and someone shares that passion with you, there's nothing like it. Like, their sex was different. She was different around him, and she actually changed him. I don't think she had as much as an impact on the other three as she did him. Like, she made him realize, yo,
It's
I
not about
really,
all the time.
right, I want her. Like, I want to really be with her. Like, I'm not messing with these other chicks. Now, he done been ran through, you know what I'm saying? But that passion that he fed, and then someone to really to have someone in your life to understand your passion and truly relate, not just support it, but like understand it. That's extremely hard to find.
Also,
Extremely.
I know it's a sidebar because we're talking about her sexual relationships, but also in the show, we do learn that Nola has friends. Nola has a village behind her who
Yep.
are supporting her despite the fact that she's making these sexual decisions that her friends don't necessarily agree with.
Mm-hmm.
She had 3 friends who are all very, very different.
Yep.
All very, very have their different point of views, their different dreams and aspirations. We have an African, what is it, diaspora? Someone who was into that.
Yeah.
We had a stripper.
Yep.
And
Oh
then
my
we
god.
had,
But that
yeah.
goes back to the whole, perception versus reality.
Yeah. The stripper friend made her butt with donk. Never mind. Go ahead.
I
Yeah.
get where he was going there. It was a bad point there. He didn't use a good example with that point. But I get where he was going. He was going for the whole Kim K type thing.
Yeah. It was a mess. It was a hot mess.
Literally a mess.
But She's Gotta Have It is amazing because there were so many different points around liberation and about living your life to the fullest without anybody else's input. Because I personally feel as though only you can decide who you want to be. And when other people try to influence that, that's when you have gray areas.
I agree. So, do both of y'all like to be in control? Y'all were very nodding your head and very into the fact that she established control and she was in control for the most part. Is that what y'all
I'm
want?
gonna say no.
Aja and I are very dominant people, and that's why she's my friend. We're straight to the point, and we're not gonna take any crap from anyone. So, we intimidate people, and we have a hard time.
Really?
We have a hard time.
I don't get that from you. Ajah, I could see.
Okay, well,
She look like she fight niggas, but go ahead.
Now I look rough. I look rough around the edges, bro.
Nah, you don't look rough. I promise you that. Go ahead.
I'm gonna feed off of what Tori was saying.
Wait, y'all didn't even
yeah,
pick
because
who
he
she would
wasn't
date.
listening to me.
I was listening to you.
And I agree.
I don't see that. Oh, fuck off.
I agree. However, the only thing deterring from what you said, I would say for me personally, at the end of the day, I do believe in that man and woman role. And when I say that, I believe that a man is a provider. I feel like a man is my safe haven. I feel like a man is supposed to protect me. Now, regardless of who makes the most money, I'm going to put my money in my man's hand and tell him to pay the bills. So that's my point of being submissive. But do I take shit? No, I don't. Do I have a bar or a standard set? It's very, very high. And will I take excuses? I will not. And will I take substandard work or effort? I will not.
So what are some of y'all standards?
I just said them.
Well, Tori.
It's the same, but you don't see that from me, so I don't know.
I haven't gotten that from you. And I can't say I could see that from her, but I don't know that because I don't know her like I know you. I just have never seen that side of you before.
That's great.
You're very Marsy to me, like I said.
And that's sad.
But you're not that. I mean, you're not.
You don't like Mars, but you love Mars.
Yeah, he was cool, but you're not. I don't see you as a goofball though.
Because now questioning. Maybe you don't know me, but that's a tangent. So let's go back into the show.
Yes, y'all have to pick someone for Nola.
I say Greer. He would say Opal.
I was
But
going to say Opal. She was happy.
she was.
Was
She
she?
was happy.
She was happy, but
She
she
was.
wasn't ready.
She was happy, but again, like she said, Opal wasn't finna take no shit.
Nola was not matured enough. She was not in her final form. So she wasn't ready for Opal, no.
I agree.
It wasn't exactly. So it's almost like Nola had the way to say who was good and who wasn't for her, who good and who wasn't, who was good and who wasn't good for her. But Opal had the dictation of saying whether Nola was good or not enough for her. And that was the turning point. Because Nola couldn't determine that situation. She wasn't in control of Opal. It was either you get with it or get lost.
And that's what ended up happening.
Until Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Until Thanksgiving.
There was a Thanksgiving snippet in here?
The
last episode.
When they all came over?
Yeah, but at the end of the night,
at
with
the very
that purple,
end of the night,
it was a Prince song.
Obviously, for those who have not
Raspberry Beret. Benet. What is it? Beret.
At the very end, the very last episode, for those who haven't seen it, Nola invited everyone over to her house at the same time, and they all met each other. She was brutally honest. You all asked me who the other guy was. You are the other guy. And they all met each other, and they couldn't be mad at it. Of course, at first it was dry. Of course, at first there was tension. But as time went on, they couldn't be mad because Nola was honest the entire time.
Didn't I tell you that I was a savage? Fuck your white horse in a carriage.
And they threw a tribute to Prince in there too.
Yeah, the Raspberry Beret.
I thought that was dope.
I did too. I honestly feel like the playlist was, a little subliminal itself, but you had to actually know the songs that we're using. One was an actual sample and a snippet from the original movie. The transitions with the whole I am not, whatever.
Yeah.
That little. Mm-hmm.
That Spike Lee is a clever guy. Tori,
he is.
Your point about the end. What you were saying about them in the bed?
I'm not sure.
You don't remember? You said that they basically
the end of the show, because like throughout the whole show, you kind of get your own perception.
Mm-hmm.
And at the very, very last episode, of course, they're dancing around, and you get to choose. You get to have your own perception of how it ended. And without giving too much, obviously, they all came over. They all started dancing.
Nola could cook too, by the way, y'all.
Nola could cook.
Say it one more time. That last little snippet.
Nola could cook. They all ate. They were all dancing around. And it can be insinuated that something might have happened after.
Like an orgy or
something along those lines. Because of how liberated they were, because of how free they all were. And at the end, there wasn't an issue. They all were kind of like a
drained fit. Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's a definitely a black people joke at the end that I don't want to spoil that came across the screen, Star Wars style. But yeah, they kind of leave it up into your interpretation. And it's funny because Tori thought one thing and I thought something else. So I was like, that's dope. I like stuff like that. That makes you open your mind and really think beyond what you're just seeing in front of you.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. It was definitely amazing. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. I personally haven't seen the movie, so I will be checking that out this weekend. Most definitely. But it was amazing. Everyone has their own point of view. Everyone has their own, what if this happened? What if this happened? Mm-hmm. I personally could have seen Opal and Nola raising Opal's daughter. I could have seen that. Could I have seen Jamie and Nola raising Jamie's son? No.
I ain't see that either.
I think an overall recap for me would be the fact that oh shit, I lost my train of thought. Damn. Y'all keep talking. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that like you said, like I could see the ending with Opal, and I could definitely see an ending with Greer because her art career would flourish. I could see him helping her get to that next level of art. Mars,
it was fun. It was cute.
It was fun. And he ended up being my favorite character, man, which was hilarious.
Even though Mars wasn't going anywhere.
Right.
Mars, for those again who haven't seen it, Mars is the type of guy where you go away to school and you come back and he's doing the same thing.
Damn, I never thought about it like that.
And it's still Mars is still on the block riding his bike.
The bike blew me. That bike blew me.
When he prayed to Jordan, I was on the floor.
He prayed to Jordan. Yes, he prayed to Jordan. He prayed to 2-3.
Them white socks, like all jokes aside, if you want to ever turn me off, put white socks on while we are supposed to be engaging in adult consensual sexual encounters. Wear white socks because it's like your ankles are acrylic. Like it's just bad. It's just bad views with the white socks. That shit blew me.
I'm glad you say that. One of y'all has to remember who was she with when she said something about the other guy.
Oh, okay.
She was with. Okay.
So on Nola's birthday, who had the same birthday as Malcolm X, shout out to a real one. Nola and Jamie were in bed.
The Spike Lee joint.
Nola and Jamie were in bed, and Jamie wrote Nola a poem that Nola just thought was the corniest, wackest thing ever. And as soon as Jamie ends the poem, the scene cuts, and you just hear Mars laughing because I guess Nola had told Mars what happened. So they were very honest with each other. They were very, very open. Mars thought Jamie was just a cornball. And it was cute. It was cute.
The other part, though, she was having sex with one of them, and she said something about the other one, too. I forgot. Take me to Mars?
She did. Was she with Greer? Or with...
I think it was Jamie. You okay?
Bloop, bloop, bloop.
I heard it, but it's still... Oh.
All right, you all.
Okay. Clearly, I missed something, but
boop, boop, boop.
I just had to handle some business.
Oh. Well, all right.
Dang, I wish I remember my point. It was a good point. Dang, it was my rapping.
It was amazing because Nola definitely was a role model to a lot of African American women as soon as that came out because Nola was exactly what we wanted.
I'm glad you said that. That goes back to my closing point. My closing point was if you really wanted to put it, and I don't want to put my business on the front street, but I am a parent. I am a single parent. But however, just thinking, dang, 30 years ago, and looking at 20 years from now, my daughter will be relatively the same age as me, and it really brought that conversation to the table and made it easier to put things that we experienced in retrospective to our elders, quote unquote. Because it's like, though the same things are happening all over again, it's to a different magnitude. For example, a common staple in She's Gotta Have It is weed. It's a casualty. It's like a cup of wine.
Yeah.
Weed is used as a cup of wine. But that wasn't depicted 30 years ago. However, we do know that each one of our parents did do what?
Yeah.
Marry who? Okay. So that just kind of makes that common, that neutral factor for us to be able to really talk about it. And, it won't be as taboo or it won't be as conservative. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, you know, mama, this is what it is. This is where I'm at. This is what my friends is doing. I'm confused. Let's talk about it.
Right. Her parents were very supportive of her too. I don't think they were aware of her crazy lifestyle though. But
No.
Did y'all catch that her mama was the friend from the original movie?
I haven't seen the
I haven't
original.
seen it either. I need to go see it.
Well, it's on They're both on Netflix, but the original, the friend that she fell out with, quote unquote, is Nola's mama in the 30 years later version, the series.
Huh. I need to go back to some context.
That's why I was like, y'all got to see both before you do it.
I ain't had time. My bad.
I
gotta
get
go back
it.
and see it. But I ain't gonna hold y'all. I appreciate your time and y'all energy and y'all input. This is a bomb ass show. Hopefully this brings about some dialogue and some peace and some comfort to somebody out here in these streets. Thank you again, Tori, for bringing this to my attention, because I looked at the series and I read the description, and I ain't gonna lie, I judged it because I hold, especially black women, I hold y'all in very high regard, and I was like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna agree with the way she's being depicted. I don't know. I heard some stuff, but because I value what Tori says, I was like, all right, let me watch it. And she made me watch the whole thing. And once I started, I couldn't stop. And I'm glad I did. So take a chance, look at it. I think y'all will really like it. Y'all want to say y'all goodbyes? Any final shout outs, your Instagram or whatever y'all want to do?
Tori Cornelia, but y'all knew that already. I appreciate y'all for listening. I hope that you have a fantastic evening. And for real, like, watch She's Gotta Have It yourself if you haven't already. Peace, love, and cocoa butter and tea tree oil.
Thank you all again for listening. Don't forget, From My Experience Podcast on Facebook, send us a request to join the group. In the group, we put up various polls to get people's opinions. We oftentimes post about future topics to get your feedback. If you want to give us some additional feedback, you can hit us up, frommyexperiencepodcast@gmail.com. Send us your questions, your comments, and we'll respond on the show. Don't forget, we're on Instagram, FME_podcast. That's the new name, FME_podcast, to follow us for our crazy antics on Instagram. We are also on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, and Stitcher. So whatever one of those you like to use to listen to. We're working on a couple more outlets. Hopefully they'll be coming soon. But anyway, thank you for your continued support, and I'll holla.